Plus I think it really annoys you if you have to come back for another video the next day. Anyway, I started walking. I did have a torch with me. I don't remember if that was from my phone or something else. I was walking barefoot, and at the same time I was calling with her, and we were like, "Ah, where are you?" And said, like, just wait for me, like I'm coming. You know, I'm walking towards you, but it's like, I don't know where I am. I just lost my orientation. I literally didn't know where I was. So I was walking through all these trees and stuff, and the funny thing is, because I already have some, I have like trust. I trust in my feelings, so if I don't know where I am, I just keep going. I just keep going. I just work myself out of it. But of course it's scary for somebody who doesn't have that. And she was in that place. She didn't know how to do these things. And maybe she will figure it out, I don't know. So I just worked myself out of it, and in the end, I got to where she was. And she was angry with me. Well, I can't help that. I have to do what I have to do. And so I did that. But I never had something like this, that I actually knew where I was, and I walked 5 meters and suddenly, orientation gone. You don't know anything anymore. You don't know basically how you got there, nothing looks familiar, and then you're in the middle of some kind of forest and you think the path should be somewhere there, but you just don't see it. So I kept walking through bushes, and then there were like these not raspberry, but yeah, you know what I mean, not the red ones, but the dark ones. These things, and so they have these tiny, like, it's talking about, I'm not losing words anymore. These tiny spines or something, spikes, needles, the pokey things. Yeah, you don't want to step into these things barefooted, because it's quite painful. And then there were like other branches and stuff, and it's like, it was really thick, like really thick stuff, so it was hard to get through it. Plus I didn't know where I was going, and it was pitch black. And on the other hand, there was like an angry, scared woman. More scared than angry, but if you're angry, you project you start getting angry at the thing that scares you, which was me. But of course, if you have a method to deal with that fear, it didn't have to be like this, right? She could have waited there, but she couldn't, because she didn't know how to deal with it. Anyway, so I just kept walking. And, well, I was also kind of afraid of losing her, but in a way I thought, what the heck, just continue, whatever, because that's how I lived my life, how I got to that point. I said it to the woman that came before her. I said, I'm not running after women anymore. And that's what I mean. Like, if you want to have, if you want to live alongside me, you have to work extra hard, because that's what I'm doing. I'm not stopping for you anymore. I do what I have to do, and if you want to be a part of my life, you will work extra hard to keep up with my pace, because I'm already far away. So you have to follow my lead, because I know where I'm going. I have a direction. And if you want to constantly do your own thing, then do that, but leave me alone, because I don't have time for that. So I just continued. to walk my path. And I have done so ever since. And yes, sometimes you forget these things, and you forget how determined you are, because I am quite determined. And it's important to remind yourself of your determination, and to continue and to struggle. And I think that's all there is to it. Because nothing is given to you for free. And, right, I mean, to be in a situation where a part of you is scared shitless, and you somehow manage to feel the fear, but not to live it. So fear is surrounding you, but you don't let it into your heart. And that's the scary part. Because everybody lets fear into their hearts. But it's your job to be courageous and to shine the light for others. So you have to keep doing that. And that's what I have been doing during the entire time of the pandemic. You know, to keep up hope. Because some people have none. And as long as you're around, it's somewhat okay, but as soon as you leave, suddenly, you know, they do get the vaccination. So also, something you cannot forget, you cannot prevent people from making their own decisions. And you cannot force yourself to be around people all the time to prevent them from making mistakes, because they have to learn from it. If they give in to fear, that's their thing, right? And then there's a consequence. And if that woman, that I love very much, runs to another man, has sex with him, then she has to deal with the consequence. And ultimately me too, because then maybe I have to make a decision. And I think what scares me is that I already know what that decision would be. And that decision would be that there's no way that this could work out. I know it in my heart that the only way this can work out between the two of us is if we both remain faithful towards each other. And that to me means to not run to somebody else to get what we want to have from that person. I didn't have physical contact like with other women, and I stayed away from most men. So it's to stay with yourself, to learn to be okay on your own. That's important. Learn to be okay on your own. Because if you always need others, then you won't manage. So when you meet somebody and you feel like, you know, for that person maybe it's worth doing that, you know, then stay true to yourself and don't give in to temptation. Don't sleep with somebody else. Of course you can be tempted, but in the end you have to make the decision. As soon as you have sex with somebody else, it's broken. This bond that you may have had will break. And if you are willing to sacrifice that, then it wasn't important to you. And that's why I know deep down in my heart, if one of us sleeps with another person, it's over. And that's why I at least want to stay true to the promise I made inside of me and outside of me, and wait till I meet her again or she contacts me. And that's just a pretty hard thing, right? Session end.